guys, I'm live. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on wherever you are today. Yes, it's me and I'm live, and today we are continuing on the discussion of fear. And yeah, so I thought I'd wear the same outfit just to help you. So, if you're ever looking for this topic or you want to share it with somebody, just tell them to look for the polka dot series, yeah, because I'm in green and white polka dots today. And I will be for the rest of this series. It makes it so much easier because actually trying to find an outfit has been a nightmare. So anyway, I digress. So yes, today we're going to be talking about fear, and specifically the fear of failure. And I'm going to talk you through how that has actually shown up in my life, because every fear that we have shows itself up in one way or another in our life. And for some people, it's exactly the same way. It's you can pinpoint and go, yeah, that's what that person has, got a fear of ABC. But some people, it's totally different, and everybody's got a way in which they deal with their fear. Now, in order for me to talk about this, I am going to have to go back into my youth, because a lot of these fears stem from there. Because essentially, when we're young, our brains are still developing. We don't really know how to navigate the world, and this is what the role of the parent is to help us to navigate the world. And and sometimes we feel we will have an emotion and we just don't know what that emotion is, and if we can't label it, and if it's not labeled for us, we will create our own conclusions as to what it is, and we'll deal with it the way we feel we need to deal with it. And so a lot of my illustrations are coming from when I was a child, because this is when fear got instilled with me. Not necessarily was it on purpose. I'm not sat here saying, oh, my parents were the worst thing in the world. Definitely not. They brought me up the best way they knew how to. But I am saying that, a lot of us are walking in a lot of fear, and a lot of this fear has stemmed from our childhood. So, I think that the people that are in the most demand in this day and age really should be, the therapist, because I think everybody does need a therapist. Everybody needs to go to counseling. So anyway, so sometimes it's a practical thing that's going to help us get through to, the next stage, or to at least help us to kind of know that there is something that we have to work on. And this book was really powerful in my life. And, it's from Susan Jeffers. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So I bought this book ages ago, and it started me on my journey of trying to get rid of my fears. Obviously, only God can do that, essentially. But, we sometimes do need practical tools. And I can remember, if I go all the way back to when I first could identify this fear of failure, was when all the way when I was in school, and it was told to me that I had to have straight A's, and I had to be the best in the class, and I had to do I had to come back with great reports and things. And I was not necessarily an A student per se. I was probably more of a B and a C student in that way. I was not necessarily the kind of person that would come up with grade A's all the time. But the way that made me feel, in a way, was that I'd failed. I'd failed my parents. And I remember the time when I was in school, and this when I was in boarding school, and again I wanted to please my parents and things, and I wrote my dad a letter, and I said to him in the letter that, because my brother, my eldest brother, he's a genius, absolute genius, such a genius that he actually went to university way earlier than any of his peers. So that was the standard that I had to uphold. I had to uphold that standard. So I thought, and nobody really corrected me to go, actually, Clara, you know what? It's not about that. He did it because he's able to do it. That was what was purposed for him in his life. But you've got a different purpose. You've got a different route. And, and as long as you do your best is good enough. you know. That could have been a conversation that was had, but it wasn't. So I wrote to my dad and I was like, I said, I really want to make you proud. I really want to make you proud of me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat my brother's record. I am going to, get to university earlier than I should have, and even beat him at the age that he got to university. I'm going to get there even quicker. And for me, remember, I'm a child, I'm not fully formed at this point. So for me, I'm looking at it from a child's perspective, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And when I do this, I'm going to be a success. Yes. Obviously that didn't happen because, I passed, but did I spearhead it? Did I get to university quicker than my brother did at his age? No, that didn't happen. So therefore, I internally decided I must be a failure, and I internalized failure. And for me, it was because I wasn't corrected, because I wasn't told that, you've done your best and your best is good enough. It was almost like, well, you got a C instead of a B, you got a B instead of an A, you got an A instead of an A plus, And for me, each time that was like, yep, you failed. And another thing, in school, you either get a pass or a fail. There should be no such thing as fail, because when you're looking at your report sheet and it has an F for fail, you kind of going, oh, I'm a failure. Why can't it just say try again? Do you know what I mean? Why can't it just say try again? Why does it have to say F for failure? Why can't it just say T for try again? But anyway, so I grew up with this fear of, failure. So for me, it was like I had to succeed in everything that I did. So I was striving. Every single thing I did from that point onwards was striving to prove to everybody that I was a success. So I couldn't deal with words that I associated with failure. And I didn't even realize this until I was an adult. And I remember having an argument with my partner at the time. And, it was a healthy argument. When it started off as a healthy argument, and it was like, you should have done that. And no, you should have done that. And because you haven't done that, this is the end result. And then he just said, and you're stupid. Nobody calls Clara stupid. No. And from that point, I just went into rage. It was like, you have not seen Rage Clara. That day, he saw Rage Clara. And I went into this big, massive rage because all of a sudden, this guy was telling me that I was a failure. All he said was, I'm stupid. But for me, it was like, you're a failure. And I went at him like a crazy person. What am I trying to say? Fears make you do things that you ordinarily wouldn't do, and they show up in different ways. And for me, it showed up in two ways. My fear of failure showed up in one, trying to strive to be the best person in everything and prove everybody else wrong, that the whole world was wrong. I even wanted to do male-dominated jobs because I wanted to be able to prove that I can do it as a woman. I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. I wanted to wear a male uniform because, if a man can do it, so can I do it. You know what? How dare you tell me that I can't do this? This was driven by fear. It looks as if it's confident. It looks as if it's like, this person is actually, she knows what she's doing. She knows where she's going. She's going for it. But it was fear-driven. Fear-driven. So, and then the worst things was when I associated the name failure with anything that did not say success. So you're stupid, you're crap, you're this, you're that. And therefore then it also, not only was it good enough, was it bad enough when they would say I was, when they'd refer to anything that I had being stupid. Oh, why did you buy that stupid toy? Why did you buy that stupid book? Or that friend of yours is stupid. You're stupid, your friend is stupid. For me, all I could hear is failure, 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 F, 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 F. You're a failure, you're a big fat F. But no, that's not what God says about me. Really? You know, when I went to God and I was like, God, you're going to have to do something with this, because I cannot operate like this. I cannot form great friendships and relationships with people. I cannot do things that I want to do without feeling stressed. You know, this competition, I'm not winning it. You know, people are beating me. Like, I'm failing at everything. You know, I've got one failed business, another failed business, another failed business. You know, everything is failing. God, like, if you're there, can you help me? And that was when I heard God saying, I have not given you a spirit of fear. You know, I don't want you to be fearful. There is no fear in you. The fear of failure, it is a figment of my imagination. It is not what you are. I created you to be good. When I formed you, I said you were good. You were good. You know, you were not good enough. There wasn't like a maybe-ish in it. It was a full stop. You know? So you are definitely not a failure. I love you, you know. And if I can love you, the creator of heaven and earth can love you, then no, you are not a failure. You are not a failed experiment of mine. Oh, no, 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 no. You are definitely not that. You're my child. You know, you have dominion over everything. So you can look that fear that you've pointed out, that fear of failure, and call it out and go, come here, feel a failure. Come, failure, come. And you can cast it out. Cast out that fear, because that is not you. Doesn't belong to you, is not part of you, is not in you, it's not you. You know, I've put you in this world to thrive. I know the plans I have for you. Plans to give you a future and a hope. There is no fear in that. There is no failure in that. Where did you get the name failure from? When did I say you are a failure? At what point did I say you were a failure? Go through my word and know that I never, ever called you a failure. So nobody has the right to call you a failure, and nobody can make you feel like you're a failure. Stand up, know who you are, and know that you are a child of God who is loved. Loved, loved, loved. Yeah, like, it's like, mic drop. Okay, let's go. So yeah, just want to say to somebody today, you know, if you're struggling with any kind of fear, and I'm going to be talking about all different types of fears and showing you how it's showed up in my life. And maybe it can help you if you can identify with your own fear and know that actually, you know what, you can cast it out. Like, fear is not for you. Fear is just a distraction. You know, and with this book did help me, because it was just like, hey, for a period of time, I was like, you know what, I feel the fear, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I also want to say to parents out there, like, you know, you've got to recognize that a child doesn't understand their emotions at that age. You cannot allow their imagination to run away with them. You know, when you know a child is fearful, you got to let them know, hey, this is what you're feeling, but it is not of you. You know, when you know your child feels rejected, you got to let them know that, hey, I know what this is. This is fear, but I want you to know that you are so accepted. When your child feels like they're a failure because they came back from school with an F grade, you want them to know, you know what? You are not a failure. I don't care what that piece of paper says. You're not a failure, you know? You tried your best, and all you got to do is try again. Maybe try again, do the same thing, or try again, do something else. But just because you didn't get what you wanted and it didn't look the way you thought it was going to look like, it doesn't mean you're a failure. Parents need to start telling their children the truth about them. You know? Otherwise, they end up broken. Otherwise, it takes them going to counseling to get fixed. It takes them, you know, going down the wrong path. It takes them having failed relationships and all of these things. And some people never recover. That's not the way it's supposed to be. We've got to teach our children in the right way to walk so that they will never depart from it. You know, so yeah, that's what I got to say to you. But at the same time, I want you to know that God loves you. He loves you so, so, so much. Loves you so much. He loves you. I cannot even contain the amount of love he has for you right now. You know, he loves you so much. And all you have to do is respond back to that love. Ask God, show me your love. You know, Clara keeps saying that you love me. Like, and I know in my head that you do love me. Or actually, I don't even think that you love me, because if you love me, you wouldn't allow A, B, C, D to happen. But you know what? Just for the sake of it, just for the argument's sake, could you just show me your love and see what he's going to do? See how he will show up for you. Why? Because he loves you. And he wants you to know that. And you know who else loves you? Me. I love you. So guys, have a great weekend. And if I don't see you until Monday, know that I would have missed you. And I can't wait to come back on and share some more stuff with you. Take care, guys. Love you loads. Bye.